Here we are for round number 6, the final round in the Swiss of the challenge. We are on the play, but unfortunately on a mulligan. The 6 looks keepable to me, but we'll still need to find more land drops and more action in card draw. I'm actually gonna ship the Muldrifter because I don't think I want to draw that one. I firstly want to make sure I hit my land drops. So Great Furnace could mean Affinity or Boros, but since they are having no other turn 1 plays, seems more likely to be Boros. Let's grab our planes and preordain, hopefully into some lands. And alright, Muldrifter and Ashburn, so this time we will keep the Muldrifter as well as the land. And plan on evoking next turn. Here's a mountain to confirm our suspicion. We're playing against Boros. So let's evoke Muldrifter to unmulligan, and nice, we've got a lot of action. Still need to hit more lands, but I have high hopes between preordain and all my other card draw. So since we drew the wilds, let's crack that one first and Seagate after that, taking the fam off of it. So no more lands, but Familiar is pseudo like a land, as he makes other things cheaper. Opponent doing what their deck does best, but we can beat them on the card draw department, so I believe if they are on the traditional Boros Monarch slow grindy version of the deck, this is probably our best matchup out of all the tier 1 decks. Sadly though, we do not hit any lands off of that preordain. Otherwise it would have been more mana efficient to fire off the analysis this turn. But I really thought that if I could hit a land with that preordain, I would analyze after that. And our fam is getting blasted, so I will use the opportunity to cast this snap, even though it's not great, but I feel like I rather preserve the fam than the snap. And there goes a Battle Screech, so soon opponent will be flying for quite a lot of combat damage. So again, let's start off with Preordain, seize the most cards. So here I'm actually gonna take one of these Seagates, so that I guarantee that I have another profitable play for this turn, and hopefully we can get a land off of that one. Yep, the bounce land is perfect. Opponent attacking for 6 and passing the turn. Okay, so they might have a lot of interaction or burn in hand. I'm running the fam out nevertheless. And let's analyze first, because if we played the fam there and the opponent bolts the first one in response, then we won't be able to cast the analysis or anything else this turn. Okay, so I'm just passing with negate open, kind of expecting the opponent to place something into it. Yeah, definitely countering this journey. So here, I'm thinking I can probably stay safe by just playing out Faithful and chaining some card draw to gain life off of it and stay out of range for these flyers. But I'm probably being a little reckless with that. I could have definitely taken a much safer line and just went for the Stone Horn and maybe like play out a Fem and set up for next turn to draw a lot of cards. Instead, I'm doing that now, but not really hitting anything all too good, so I'll just evoke to draw more, and that will do it for the turn. So my hand is very well set for next turn. But we need to get there first. And I also may have miscounted a bit, since opponent is attacking for 6, and now we're dead to a Galvanic Blast, or as it seems, Firebolt plus Flashback. So yeah, this game definitely hasn't been played optimally on my part. I should have gone for the Stonehorn last turn. But well, I mean, I'm 5-0, so my place in the top 8 is guaranteed. So I'm kind of chilling and playing this game a little loose. But I will definitely try to tighten it up and go for the best result in the following games. Sideboarding against Boros, we bring in the 2 Aven Rift Watchers. They do a pretty great job at stabilizing here, or at least they eat a removal spell instead of the bolt targeting one of our Fems. And we bring in the one of Disenchant, which is great against Journey to Nowhere, and sometimes we can also use it as land destruction or whatnot. We'll be siding out a little bit of card draw, 1 Analysis, 1 Seagate, and also siding out the Mountain. So yeah, we're on the play, hand looks pretty great. We've got our land drops covered for the following 7 turns. And let's preordain into more action, cool. I would of course love to draw a Familiar, or even a Faithful would be real nice. But I'm gonna start off with the Seagate, and sure, let's grab a Disenchant. Aven Rift Watcher, cool. Let's deploy that one, because that means that we won't have to be discarding this turn once we play out this bounce land. And if the opponent wants to kill the Rift Watcher, I'm fine with that. If it sticks, I'm cool with that too, as it's saving me a lot of life points. And sure, opponent is tapped out, let's run out this Drifter. I mean, we'll have to be discarding a card, but we have so many lands that we can spare one to hand size. Opponent's playing out the Relic, which might be a little annoying, but it's usually no big deal, especially from decks that do not run counter magic. I mean, as you could see in the game against Delver, where they had Relic and also counter magic, that can get kind of tricky. But if they have just the Relic, that's like no big deal. Preordain into... Nice. Let's keep both of these. And sure, might as well play another Drifter for mana efficiency. I did not want to do a Faithful plus Analysis in face of the Relic, so I don't give them a chance to exile it. But otherwise I would have gone for that line instead of the Drifter, I think. Yeah, sure, they're playing a million artifacts, but still only got 2 creatures and aren't able to pressure me at all. So I feel pretty good just sitting here, drawing more cards and developing my mana base. Second mnemonic wall is pretty cool, but we would most of all like to draw a fan. So let's run out the wall first. Maybe they crack the relic, maybe they don't. I guess they don't care about preordain all that much, so they're gonna let me take it. So sure, I might as well play it now. Negate plus Muldrifter seems good to me. Alright, they've got a Monarch, but we'll be able to outdraw them still pretty much fine, as most their card draw is no real card draw, it's more like cantripping, whereas our action, we've got the real card draw, and once we start looping with Ghostly Flickers, they've got no chance. So let's snap the Skyfisher just to make more mana. Because at this point, I mean, they've got already so many cards in hand, it does not matter if we give them the value of having the ability to play out Skyfisher, bounce a Prism and replay it for an extra card. Okay, they're boarding the Muldrifter, which I'm actually gonna negate. Because the thing is that this turn I can steal Monarch from them if I do this. If I don't, then they can crack the Alchemist's Vial with their 1 mana left and make me unable to attack with the other Muldrifter. So I figure negate is worth drawing an extra card in our end step. And I mean, if they don't have a way to claim Monarch back for themselves, they are pretty much finished. So that's my thought process at this moment. Otherwise, I mean, I don't really care for the Monarch card draw myself that much, but what I do care about is that the opponent does not get to draw the cards off of the crown. Journey on our wall, okay. But we've got a disenchant for that once we feel like it's necessary. Yeah, opponent indeed looks like it's gonna be trying to claim monarchy for themselves. So here we'll be disenchanting one of the journeys, the one that's locking our mnemonic walls. I figure that's the more important creature for the combo, even though Muldrifter is more raw value. But we've got enough card draw in hand. So yeah, opponent does not want to let any more wall shenanigans happen, so they are bolting it and they will be exiling our yard. And so they will be claiming the monarchy, but have no way of protecting it. So let's steal it back. And then I'm gonna start off with Preordain, just in case I draw like Sunscape Familiar. That's perfect. So let's draw even more cards. Flash it back, sure. And I guess pass. I could have gone for like some snap shenanigans, but I figure I'd rather save the snap as defensive spell to protect my creatures. So opponent playing more guys and cycling through more of their deck. I mean, we're still very much ahead on cards, but it looks like they are gonna be able to remove our fam and claim the monarchy for themselves again. So let's start off with the Seagate. Again, it's the cheapest card draw in my hand, and if we find like a fam, that's perfect for the rest of our turn. So let's analyze and I guess flashback on analysis. Playing out an island to have again a snap as protective spell. I'm blocking just to save a little bit of damage, but I'm not worried of them that much taking the Monarch. I mean, I suppose I won't be able to get it from there anymore in this game since I lost my other Muldrifter, but that's fine. We'll just outdraw them. Okay, and they are returning the journey so that they can lock up our fan. I mean, I'll snap it in response. So I do have the fams, I do have the wall, only missing the Sage Row for the win. So this one I will react to by flickering Seagate and the fam. So I also get some card draw in the meantime. I mean, a dispel is pretty good at this point because we do have the wall, we do have the flicker, so we don't really need more card draw spells than that, as long as we can protect this combo. I'll take a backup fam just in case, although I could also see taking the arrows instead, but I think the fam is gonna probably do a better job for us, and opponent seemed to be killing our fams quite aggressively. Maybe if they wanna spend a bolt for that one, then I can save the dispel. Alright, and there's the Sage Row, so that should do it with double protection. Gonna flicker and opponent has seen enough. Let's go to game number 3. Game 3 against Boros, we are on the draw, but our hand is excellent with 2 fams, some card draw, a lot of land drops. Everything we want to see there. So they do have the Bojuka Bok, which might cause us a little bit of trouble during the rest of the game, since they can rebuy it with Mortuary Mire and Core Skyfisher, but since it's not instant speed, it's pretty much fine. I will actually block here since I don't see any red mana in the opponent's disposal, but I don't know, it might be a mistake since now if they play the red source, our fam does die to firebolt or galvanic blast, as it has 1 point of damage on it already. And yeah, looks to be the case. Even though I usually block with my fams pretty aggressively, like they are a wall after all, they are meant to be blocking. And I'm not overprotective of them most of the time, but here, since I see the really tempting play of both playing and flashing back the deep analysis during one turn, I will actually let one damage go through so that I do not die to another galvanic blast. But sure, since we drew the Fateful, that one will be even better, as this way we won't waste any card due to hand size limit. And we will presumably have the deep analysis for next turn. I mean, they could, I guess, Skyfisher, bounce the block and replay it, but then they are like down on land drops and not using the Skyfisher to gain card advantage with bouncing Tradebin Inspector and replaying it, so no matter what, I think I'm happy with what happens here. And okay, we do get to flash the analysis back. We do get to play out a Seagate into a Maldrifter, excellent. And even though we're drawing a lot of lands, there's only one basic left in our deck. I still think we are in a very good spot here. Okay, opponent can kill our fam here as we don't have the other mana for Ghostly Flicker. But again, I'm not too worried about that. And especially as I draw Mortuary Mire and am able to put the fam back on top of my library. Let's follow it up with a Maldrifter. Since the opponent has a red untapped, I kind of run into a Pyroblast. I still think there's no better play for the turn, so I'm fine with this happening. But it's definitely annoying getting the 5-drop card by a 1 mana card spell. There's the Relic again, but sure, I mean, it did not do anything last game. I don't think it will do much this one either. An opponent does rebuy the Bog for next turn, so if we want to analyze, we need to play both parts this turn. I will start off with the Familiar. Since we can still analyze this way and flash it back. I'm kind of regretting that I discarded this Plains a turn or two ago. I should have probably discarded one of the islands instead. That might have been a mistake, as now I do have a couple of Faithfuls that I would love to play, but instead I'll have to be discarding to hand size one of them. There's Journey, sure. So opponent starts to represent finally some clock in the air, hitting us for 6 down to 10. But we do have the Faithful, and those do a pretty good job at stabilizing. So let's start off with Faithful into a Maldrifter, holding Ghostly Flicker mana. So let's see. I'm actually not flickering the Maldrifter, and instead, since I drew the Seagate Oracle off of it, I'm gonna play that one. My reasoning is that if I flickered there, I would have to be discarding an excessive amount of cards, so playing out the Seagate seems better to me. Okay, and we would like to draw both of these cards, but since our sources of white mana are limited, I'm going to go with the Mnemonic Wall and ship the Rift Watcher. So I mean, sure, they have quite some damage in the air. I guess at this spot we would have been dead to double bolt. So if the opponent had one bolt, it's possible that they would have tried cracking the relic to dig into another one. But it looks to me like they don't have that, so I feel very much fine getting the fam here and trying to do some Muldrifter stuff. Sure, we'll lose the disenchant, but that's okay. I mean, disenchanting the relic is such a bad play, usually. I mean, sometimes I'll do that as well, but most of the time I'll just bait the relic out with something. And they do have the pyroblast for this one, but we do have one more flicker lined up. So we do get to save our Muldrifter and draw 3 cards. Perfect. Okay, opponent is cracking the relic just to try to hit something, because they probably realize that it won't really do the trick there during our combo turn, which I think is a correct assessment. But I mean, it brings the question whether they should be bringing the card in at all. I guess they got a backup one, but they're gonna cycle that one as well. Playing a Monarch, sure, but at this point we are so far ahead on cards, it's not gonna matter at all whether they get an extra one in their end step or not. We do get to trade Muldrifter with the Glint Hawk. I guess it's more likely that they were digging for a bolt effect there so that they can just finish us off. And yeah, looks to be like the case since they killed a fam. I mean, if they had another bolt, they would have aimed for the face, but since they don't, they just want to prevent our ability of comboing off, which I'm not sure whether they will succeed at, since we've got another fam in hand and we can rebuy that one from the yard. So sure, let's take the flicker here. Let's play the fam out. Get back the mire. I will settle for replaying it next turn. And I guess we might as well try and dig deeper into our library. Opponent only has 1 mana app for interaction, so this is a good spot to be snapping our creatures. So Wall will rebuy us the snap and Seagate will try to dig for the Sage Row. I mean, this spell is pretty nice as well. And during that single turn we've gained so much life that now the opponent's plan really, I don't know what that even is. I mean, swinging for 6 in the air won't do it. So there's the fam that we put on top. Let's play that one first. I guess let's try and preordain into the Sage Row. And excellent, we have the Sage Row and we even have a backup wall on the top. So opponent can have maximum of 3 interaction spells. Therefore I think we've got that covered. Yeah, let's snap in response to that Gallblast. I mean, I am not dispelling because I would rather save the dispel in case they also have like a pyroblast. So this seems like a slightly better play to me, as we can rebuy the flicker with the wall. And this way since we earlier flickered on wall plus Seagate, we do get to draw the other wall that we knew is on top. So this should be the game. Yep, and there it is. Opponent apparently does not have any more cards of relevance, and we are able to combo them off with enough time on our clock to do the trick. Alright, so there we are, 6-0 in the Swiss. So I guess I will be seeing you in the top 8. Stay tuned, guys.